Alrighty, Spanish 2 students, are you guys ready? We're going to work on some reading practices some more. And as you remember, we are working on how to read. You know how to read in your own language. We are working on how to read in a second language. And remember, with this pandemic and everything, we're not expected to read in Spanish 2 like we're in high school. We're reading at a kindergarten first, maybe second grade level. So please don't feel like I expect you to read and understand every word. I don't expect you to read and be able to write a full paragraph summary of this. We're reading to get general ideas and build up your confidence. So please remember that. Also, as I'm doing these activities with you, I'm going to cite my sources. I don't like to plagiarize, and I want to tell the truth. And if I set a good example, hopefully you will follow that. So I tell you it's not my own work and that I clicked it and I got it from this source. If you choose to make a copy of the notes for yourself, as you open them, you'll see other pictures. Now, this picture came from the story, but there may be other pictures throughout, and I will have cited the source in the notes. So let's work on this. El perro de mi abuelo story script. The first thing we talked about was looking at pictures and titles. Throughout, I'm going to encourage you to pause. I do want you to pause the recording and think for yourself and jot some notes down. So if you need to go grab a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, please do so. All right, so looking at this, we know the word dog and we know grandfather, and we see a picture. So I'm guessing we're reading about my grandfather's dog. Skim, scan, read. Skim, scan, read. Skim, scan, read. You're going to be real tired of hearing that. When you skim, I want you to look at pictures, I want you to look at headlines, and I want you to look at cognates. What are cognates? Think. Pause if you have to. A cognate is a word in Spanish that looks and sounds very close to English and means the same thing. Then we're going to scan. I want you to kind of get a vague impression, a glittering generality, not memorize every single word, not understand every single word. If you do, great, but then you're way beyond where you need to be in Spanish too, and congratulations. Then we're going to read. Remember, who is quién, when is cuándo, where is dónde, and what is qué. Now, if you would like to have a full read aloud by a native speaker, you can click right on this and the entire story is going to be read to you aloud. And you can choose subtitles or no subtitles. I know that when I was growing up, I would have someone read aloud to me and their finger would go along. And so my eyes learned to follow the words and I learned what the words sounded like. So it's just something to think about. So again, there's a full read aloud right there by a native Spanish speaker. Alrighty, so first we're just going to look at pictures and titles and cognates. So first, pictures. I will adjust this again. Looks like I made my picture too big and that picture too small. I'll adjust it for your notes. Oh, there's the picture again that was on the previous one. Okay, so it looks like with all these black and white pictures and old style cars, old style boats and black and white, looks like it's a picture in the past. It's dealing with a dog. So now we're going to look at the title, El perro de mi abuelo. By Spanish too, you probably figured out the dog of my grandfather. So now let's just look for cognates. Mama, Papa, animales, bonzo, interesantes, valientes. You might have heard as valiant as brave, tranquilamente, medio, inteligente, usaba, accidente, existía, profesión, públicos, familia, escapaba. Remember cognates. Familia. That kind of looks like disappeared. Anguish. Tranquilly. Patio. Also, sometimes it looks to see these little asterisks. Barandillas. Rails. Okay, so get the impression, right? And now we're going to do a general scan. Okay, just a general scan to get a vague impression. Remember that if you want to have the native speaker read it to you, you can go back here and it sounds really good. I recommend it highly. So for a scan, we're just getting vague ideas, glittering generalities, okay? El perro de mi abuelo. El perro de mi abuelo. Maggie era mi perro. Y la mamá de Billy era blanca y negra. La quería mucho. Hace muchos años, mi padre tenía un perro blanco y negro también. Se llamaba Bonzo y vivía en España con mi papá y mis abuelos. A mi abuelo le gustaban los animales, sobre todo los perros callejeros, como Bonzo. Mi abuelo había rescatado Bonzo de un barco en que se había caído rompiendo una de sus patas. Pensaba que los perros callejeros eran interesantes y valientes. Sonreía cuando los veía durmiendo tranquilamente en medio de la carretera. Bonzo era inteligente y muy divertido. Usaba solo 3 patas para correr por causa del accidente en el barco. En esa época existía la profesión de perrero. El perrero se encargaba de echar los perros callejeros de los lugares públicos. Toda la familia tenía miedo del perrero y se preocupaba por Bonzo porque le gustaba ir de paseo. No debía salir a la calle, pero a veces se escapaba. Un día, cuando la familia estaba mudando de casa, Bonzo pasó por las barandillas de la casa nueva y desapareció. ¡Qué angustia! ¿Dónde estaba? ¿Lo tenía el perrero? El día siguiente mi abuelo lo encontró esperando tranquilamente en el patio de la otra casa. The story does continue with what happened during Spain's Civil War. It's up to you if you wish to go in and read and see the end of the story. At this time, I want you to pause. I truly want you to pause this recording. And I want you to take the time to get a piece of paper and just write down some glittering generalities, some vague impressions of what you got of the story. Please pause, and then when you're ready, we'll go back. Okay, and you're back. So, is the story about a dog that Grandpa had? Did you get any other impressions of what was going on? Looks like there was some kind of dog and a boat, and a pata is a paw. Okay. I see lots of street dogs. Maybe Bonzo was a street dog. Apparently he was smart and fun. And 3 paws. And there was an accident on the boat. Okay. There's a picture of a dog catcher. Somebody was afraid of something. Looks like the family moved. And then dog on the patio. Okay. I mean, I know exactly what's happening, but I want you to try and get the general idea yourself. So you skimmed. You looked for pictures and headlines and cognates. You scanned. You had some glittering generalities and some vague impressions. At this time, we're going to read for quién, who, when, cuándo, dónde, where, and qué, what. Ready? Maggie era mi perro y la mamá de Billy. Era blanca y negra. La quería mucho. So who, what, when, where. Pause, think, go. Who? Well, Maggie. And if it's my dog, so it must be about me, or the author, not really me, Mrs. Stuck. And some mom of Billy. Okay. There's no when. There's no where. The what's the dog? Okay, ready? So here we go. Go through quién, who, dónde, where, cuándo, when, qué, what. Pause the recording, jot some stuff down, then come back. Well, there has been a one. It's been in the past because it's only imperfect tense, used to. So, hace muchos años, many years ago. Who? Well, my dad and a dog, Bonzo, my dad, my grandparents, my grandfather, Bonzo. Okay, lots of who's. Now, where? Well, I figured out España. When? Okay, same thing. Been past. So when? Now what? Well, something about animals, and dogs, and a boat. All right. So again, who, what, when, where, quién, cuándo, dónde, and qué. Pause if you need to. I don't know. Do you consider street dogs a what or a who? That's up to you. Definitely where, carretera. That might be the one word you need to look up. Now, durmiendo kind of looks like sleeping. Carretera, you may have to look up. It can be street or it can be highway. This looks like we're dealing with dogs still. All right, who, quién, cuándo, when, dónde, where, qué, what. Pause, do it yourself. Bonzo's the who, unless you consider dog a what, but family, when talking about dogs, a lot of times it's a who for family. Again, the when, we're talking about in the past what used to be. Used to be intelligent. Used to use. There really isn't a where. You used to use three, well, we have feet down below. We have feet, pies. The dog has patas. Okay. Looks like there was some accident. All right, pause. Who, quién, cuándo, when, dónde, where, qué, what. Pause, think for yourself, go. And you're back. Okay, who? They keep saying this perrero and it's a profesión, and you've got this picture here, so I'm going to guess a perrero might be a dog catcher. And then there's a family, and there's Bonzo. Now the when, en esa época, way back when. A where? Well, public places and street. And any whats? Well, was afraid, had fear, and Bonzo liked to go walking. He used to escape. Okay. All right, so one more time here. Who, what, when, where. Who, quién, what, qué, dónde, where, cuándo, when. Pause, think for yourself. And now you're back. Who? Well, family. Bonzo again. Dog catcher. When? One day. Looks like it's still in the past. El día siguiente. I know día is day. If I was a Spanish 2 student, that'd probably be the other word I looked up. Siguiente, following. Oh, the next day. So you've got when, you've got who. Now where? Where? Is there a where? Something about house, and I see a moving truck. So mudando de casa. I wonder if that's moving from the house. And then barandillas or rails. Okay, so it looks like Bonzo Rails house. Donde estabas? Where was he? El patio de la otra casa. The patio of the other house. Have you heard stories about dogs doing that? So you've got the idea. And again, if you want to hear what happened to Bonzo during Spain's Civil War and everything else, you can go back to there. So now you've had a chance to go through and you have read a story about my grandfather's dog and you have a general idea about what this is. So good luck. I'm proud of you for reading progress. It's probably time for you to take a break. Stand up, stretch, turn off the computer for 10 minutes, take some breaths. Really fill up those lungs, get some water or a healthy drink and a healthy snack, and then come on back and do the next part.